Well, my name is John Melendez. What I basically do is I do loan modifications. I'm a consultant for loan modifications, and I also help entrepreneurs build a successful loan modification business. And it all started actually back on 2009 when I almost lost my house. That time I was working as a mortgage broker, okay? And I got into the mortgage brokers from around 2006. And then when 2008 came in, the whole bubble burst and everything, it only took me about 4 months for my whole savings to be gone. And at that time, basically what I did was is either feed my family or pay the mortgage. So I had to feed the family.
Of course.
Right? So, and then on there, I started doing a lot of research because I didn't want to lose my house either. So it came to a conclusion with the only way I can save my house was with a loan modification. So I immediately applied for a loan modification and I got denied.
Now, pardon my ignorance, John. In the essence, when you say a loan modification, what is exactly a loan modification?
A loan modification is basically you restructure the loan agreement with the bank. You restructure the interest rate, the term of the payments. It can be from a 30-year to a 40-year. It can also be the interest rate from whatever you had at that time, 5, 6.5.
I'm assuming to a more affordable.
Yes, and the affordable, it will go down, usually goes down to 2% or worst case scenario 4%, depending on what type of loan you have. So that's basically what a loan modification is, restructuring the loan.
So you were in trouble, you seek for help, information, you found the term loan modification to be able to help the situation.
Yeah, pretty much. So then, when I was doing my research, I came to find out that was the only thing that was going to be able to save my house. So I quickly applied for it, and I got denied.
So refinance does not apply, because I'm under the impression that you can do a refinance as well.
Yes, refinance was out of the question.
Okay.
The bank wouldn't allow refinance once you are late on the mortgage, once you're behind. So that was my first option to try to do a refinance, but unfortunately, since I was behind on the mortgage, they quickly denied.
So that was the only choice.
That was one of the first choices I tried to attempt, but it was denied quickly. So loan modification was the one that I came to a conclusion that was the only way I could actually solve my problem. So I did it, I got denied, and I not only got denied one time, I got denied like 4 times. It took me about a year to actually get an approval.
Now, what was the reason why you got denied so many times?
At that time, I did not know. And that was the reason that left me curious about how does this loan modification works? What is the formula, the secret formula the banks are using? So that caught my attention there. So basically what I started to do was, okay, you know what, I'm actually want to crack that code. I want to actually find out what it's all that about.
Let me ask you something. At this point, you were, now that you're a professional and now that I can see that this is what you do. What were you doing before at that period of time?
After I finished college, I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree.
Okay.
So I was doing heating and ventilation and air conditioning designing.
Okay,
so I started doing that. Then in 2006, I got into the mortgage business. A good friend of mine got me into it. So basically, I went into that, and then from 2006 to 2008, that's what happened.
I want to interrupt you there, John, because the reason why I asked that question was based on a professional level, on an intellectual level, and in finance and having a little bit of background in actually performing a mortgage. You still had a difficulty in getting your own modification done. So that means that the average person wouldn't have any idea, because as a consultant, now that you have all this information, for someone who actually works in a position, per se, a teacher who has really no very poor knowledge as far as going into the finances, would have a really hard time in actually doing numbers and putting things together, as up to my understanding that everything has to do with numbers.
At the beginning, when I was trying to attempt to do a loan modification for myself, I wasn't really applying any type of method, because I was clueless of what I was doing. I was very clueless. I just did some type of trial and error kind of thing at the beginning. So then when I started helping people, and I decided to say, let me start helping people, and at the same time, I'm going to try to approach the applications in different methods. So once again, I'm going to try to do another trial and error. I'm going to see how it works. And I don't know how I managed to do this, but eventually I got all the modifications done, okay? So after I got them done, what I did was I put them on the table, got all the results on the table, and I started analyzing it, and I found a pattern in there. So that was kind of like a breakthrough for me. So then what I did was I did a step that I was used to do when I was a mechanical engineer, which is reverse engineer. So I kind of reverse engineer the whole thing. What that means basically is you first get the result, okay, and then you work backwards. You try to find the variables to meet that result. So in this case, what I did was first figure out what the lowest modified payment was going to be. And then I will be able to figure out, okay, what type of income I need to show, what type of documentation I need to show in order to get that. So let's call it reverse engineering. It's a very simple method, and a very simple system actually that I implement, and I still use it till this time. Okay, and it works.
So it became
phenomenal.
a formula for you.
Yes, it works phenomenal. And this is what I actually teach all my entrepreneurs that actually want to get into the loan modification business, to build a successful loan modification business. It's nothing complicated. You don't have to learn any type of calculus or thermodynamics calculation, none of that. It's simple math, simple addition, simple division. That's what it is. But you need to have a grasp of what the steps are. There's 3 steps to do that. So that's basically it. That's when I cracked the code, it was easier for me to do any type of modification. Now till this day, I still implement that.